Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday in February. This is Marisa Fletcher, and I want to welcome everybody back to Power Partners United, the Women of Power training that we do here every single Thursday, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Cynthia, Isela, and Carissa Lynn. Anyone that's coming back, you guys know who we are. We are mentors within the Power ecosystem, and we're here to help train, educate, and inspire. So we thank everyone for coming back. Please make sure to put this on your calendar. It's hosted by the Women of Power, but it's not only for women, open to everyone. And we're going to start our meeting. So we always like to get our meeting started with inspiration. We want to share our wins of the week, or maybe of the last couple of weeks. There's some examples there on the screen that you can use for wins. We'd like you to jump off mute or raise your hand either way and give us some shares. Who would like to get us started with our shares? Do I have anyone that'd like to get started? I see Chrislyn. Go ahead, Miss Chris. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Marissa. So I just wanted to share, I've been really, doing a lot of social media posting, and I got a hit from somebody from high school who I've not spoken to for a very long time. But anyhow, I presented to him, and in turn also got a referral for another high school buddy of ours. And so just making our presence known and keep, sharing about net metering. So I've had, multiple referrals this week alone, just based off of that. So I thought that was pretty exciting and wanted to share.
That is awesome. And yes, those are exciting wins, right? Because we're not in our summer months. We're coming up on our winter months and our winter time. And if we just keep talking about solar and doing our activities, we're still going to help people get off the grid.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for sharing, Chris. I see a couple of hands up. I'm going to go to Miss Julia and then call on Maureen next. So Julia, you got the floor. Please share with us. What are your wins?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm really new to Power, just signed up like 2 weeks ago and invited tons of my real estate friends and past colleagues to the career week. And this morning I'm getting messages that people are very interested and excited, and they're asking about next steps. So I'm setting up onboarding with them and my mentor.
Nice. Congratulations, Julia. 2 weeks in and already sharing the story of power with your real estate professionals and using our platform the way it was designed by plugging people into Career Week. That's very exciting to hear. Great job. Great job. Thank you for sharing with us. Maureen, did you want to jump off mute and share with us?
Yeah, I just found out about this weekly meeting, so that's really exciting. So that's a win. So it's on my calendar now. Last week was a very busy week. I hit tier 3, especially on Friday. That was
Congratulations.
Exciting. And co-hosted the Florida expansion tour with Bobby Smith. We did our first Fort Lauderdale in-person event. We had 80 people there, so it was a win.
Wow.
So I mean more of that, prepping for Power Day, and then we just booked one in March after convention. Yeah.
Amazing. So these are career events for the Florida expansion, and you had how many people there?
We did Fort Lauderdale. They already had Tampa and Orlando booked because there's quite the power presence there. Bobby said he'd come add Fort Lauderdale. It was like the test. Okay. So he said he'd consider it a win if there were 25, but we got 80 people there, and it was a huge. There was about 80 people, I would say, at all 3 of the events the last 4 days. So we did all of them. Yeah, so fun to see what's happening in Florida.
That's amazing.
No big deal.
And that's a super huge deal. Amazing. Congratulations. How long have you been with Power?
6 months.
6 months. Wow.
Yeah. So Joelle Gossett was the main host for the Fort Lauderdale and a kind of co-host. And now Luigi came down, but now I think with how it went, we'll be tag teaming, this part of Southern Florida, really trying to expand it. So
Awesome. Awesome. I love the power of the events. Love it. Love it. I see. Thank you so much, Maureen, for sharing that with us. We greatly appreciate and love that inspiration. I see Tracy, the goddess of solar, and then Barry would love to share with us. Go ahead. The floor is yours, Tracy.
All right. So last Friday, I was trolling our competition sponsored ads on Facebook. And I was reading through all the people's comments and reached out to a couple people that hadn't gone solar yet, but they said they were looking at this competitor and weren't happy with the comments they were seeing. So I reached out to 3 of them, and one lady got back to me right away and gave me her utility bill. And I've actually been working on updating proposals this morning based on her request. So she and I have been working on this thing since last Friday. So hopefully I'll end up getting a deal. I'm hoping by tomorrow, but it was kind of an interesting way to get a utility bill, reaching out to the competitors' unhappy potential clients.
Wow. I think you just shared a little secret tip there that some of us can start using, because I would have never guessed to do that. Right? Wow. Amazing share. And hopefully you can share with us next week that you got that contract. So we'll see you back here next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. We appreciate you. Barry, and then Cynthia.
How are you doing all? Good to see you, as
Awesome.
usual. I look forward to these Thursday mornings when I'm available. In any event, a couple of things. One that I wasn't going to mention, but I kind of a couple of weeks ago did the same thing that Tracy did on the Nextdoor app. I just saw all the bitching and moaning on there regarding solar and the fraud and all this other garbage. And I just reached out, not to sell, but just as a if you need help in sorting through all that, I'm here for you. And he was actually looking for somebody that was actually a customer, not an actual seller. But he liked my approach, that I didn't come on too strong on that one. And he ended up sending me his electric bill. So I'm working on that one. The other one was, I know I had mentioned this before, that we were doing a ground mount install that kind of got stalled out for 3 weeks. Well, that's complete, done, and very happy to get that one out of the way. Now, fingers crossed that it passes inspection, because he's had to wait so long for this. Real nice guy, very patient guy, but his patience was running thin. So I'm glad we got it done. And so, because I want to keep that as a really good referral source in my bailiwick here. So.
Nice. Thank you, Barry, for that share. So I think I'm hearing a general theme here that if you're strategic, or if you just reach out using social media, you can get bills that way too, right? And we're not paying for this advertising. We're being interactive on social media. That's pretty cool. I love it. I love it. Cynthia, do you have a win for us?
Yeah, I wanted to share a couple things. So since someone mentioned competitors, and it made me think, I had one tier 1 seller that tagged me in their deal as a last kind of ditch effort, because their client signed with Sunrun, and their client was very adamant about just continuing the process. They already signed up, had the site survey. And I asked him to send me the contract, and there were so many red flags. They were underselling them on system size. It was super overpriced. The quality of equipment was terrible. The warranties were nowhere close to ours. And I was like, you have to tell the client that they have to meet with us, because I'm seeing so many red flags on this. And they met with us last night, and sure enough, signed up and are canceling with their Sunrun contract. And so be adamant about reaching back out. If someone tells you that you didn't win and they're going solar with someone else, just try asking for the copy of that contract, because 9 times out of 10, they're not getting a better deal. They're just not comparing apples to apples, right? So we have something that's so great. You could be saving them from a deal that's not so great. So I wanted to share that. And also a recent training I did, 2 real estate agents. I got 4 new ambassadors, and I got 3 electric bills. And so that's what I'll be training on today. I'm going to drop you guys at the end of this training. I'll drop the link as well, so you guys can see that actual training.
Thank you, Cynthia, for sharing that. Yes, please drop that in there. I know everybody is eagerly awaiting for you to speak and get to that training and what you do to get to where you are on that leaderboard here in Power with us month after month. I am going to give a quick share and then we're going to get right into it. So I always tote the power of BNI. BNI, or team, or a referral networking group where the goal is to pass referrals. So I've got wins that I know are coming up. I love my BNI referrals. I'm like at a 75% closing ratio with those referrals. The only time we don't close is when it doesn't make sense for the homeowner, when it's not the best thing for them. But if that homeowner, if it makes sense and the numbers look good, we are signing that day. And I'm super excited because I have a BNI member that she's looking for herself, plus she's looking for her friend. We're literally doing a 2-for-1, and we're doing that on, we're already going to sign, but we just need to finalize the details. It's going to be a 2-for-1 that I'm setting up on Friday. And I've got another 2-for-1 on Monday with another BNI that's in my group and with her auntie. She's already gone solar with me, but now it's going to be her auntie that we're setting up for a solar. So I just love the power of BNI. I can't express it more. I don't get any benefit from expressing it except the value of the leads that I get through that organization. Same thing for team. I know Cynthia is with Team Referral Network, and I know that she loves her partnership with them. So everyone on the call, if you haven't looked into it yet, I would definitely suggest that you do. And on that note, not to hold anyone up else any further, we thank you guys for your shares and your wins. I would love for you to come back next week. Please come back with a share, with the win. I mean, it's anything that you can think of that's going to lead, that's going to inspire the group. Someone joining 2 weeks in and already introducing power to people and signing up and growing their team. I mean, those kind of stories are inspiring. So please come back and share more with us. But with no further ado, this week, our training is lead generation through real estate partnerships with the wonderful Miss Cynthia Alvidrez. You guys, for those of you that don't know, and I know many of you on the call already know Cynthia, but for those that may not know her yet or may not have had the wonderful experience of going through a deal with her, you want to partner with her. You want to connect with her because she's going to share with you just her plethora of knowledge and information. Cynthia is a solar pro. She's been in the industry, I think, over 8 years. She's worked with some of those competitors. She knows how to present against them because she worked with them. She knows what their products were. We love having her as a partner on our platform. I am going to turn the floor over to Cynthia and let her go ahead and jump into her training. You guys want to take notes? Cynthia, the floor is yours. You're on mute, lady.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I was reading Barry's comment that says, I'm a nice person too. I'll pay you for that later, Barry. Thank you. All right, guys. So the number one question I get asked on the Power platform is, can I show people what I do with real estate offices? And so one of my main referral sources is real estate agents. And I love partnering with them because they hate solar. So they are the perfect person actually to partner with because a lot of them have had just a bad experience with solar. And so there really just is a gap in education when it comes to solar and the real estate industry. And when you can partner with a real estate agent, specifically a real estate office, think multiple people, you're going to win huge because if you can help them learn how to make solar friendly for them instead of an obstacle, then you're going to be looked at as a partner. They're going to reach out to you and give you referrals. And that's exactly what has happened with a few offices that I visit. I have one specific office where we have about 20 to 30 agents signed up as sellers or ambassadors. And the majority of that being sellers. They're signed up as tier 1 sellers. So they're constantly just putting appointments. And I will tell you, the best, warmest referrals come from real estate agents because homeowners trust real estate agents with the most important decision of their life, their home purchase. And they are going to trust a solar referral from a real estate agent. So I cannot speak highly enough about what a great target market that is. However, I have had many people say, well, Cynthia, I tried reaching out to a real estate agent, but they didn't give me the time of day. And the reason for that is because they've been burned by solar in the past. So there is a certain approach when you're speaking to a real estate agent or office that's extremely, extremely important. And so I want to talk about that before we get into the training. And I want to show you specifically the slides that I use at every single real estate office when I go into a training. And I'm going to tell you the reasons behind why I pick certain slides and what I talk through as I'm moving through these slides. So before even getting there, we have to book the class, right? So my goal is to reach out to real estate offices and offer a solar 101 class. And as soon as they hear the word solar, I get one of two reactions. Oh, yes, great, we could use more information, or, oh no, we're not very interested, right? So it's really important that when you're approaching a real estate office, you are giving that value add of just bringing solar education to their office. It's not a conversation of, hey, I want to see if your real estate agents are interested in our referral program. So that needs to be the absolute, it's a given, right? They know, this office knows that you're reaching out to them in order to perhaps gain from referrals. So instead, really try to lead with the education piece. When I'm reaching out to a real estate office, I'm finding out who's in charge of meetings. Can I know who's in charge of your office? Who runs offices? Do you have weekly meetings? A lot of real estate offices have weekly meetings. Find out how many agents they have. Do they have 20? Do they have 40? We were lucky to be introduced to an office who has over 100 agents in one office. That is a gold mine. But as long as you have around 20 agents or so, that's a great crowd. Honestly, even a dozen, that's great to start off with. There are smaller offices. Find out when they meet and ask, can I come and provide some lunch, right? Can we do a lunch and learn? That's a very common term. They have vendors go all the time to just bring solar education to your agents. And can I teach them how to make their transactions easier? So who in their right mind would say no to that, right? So you have to just lead with solar education. So that's been my approach, just saying, hey, I'm passionate about bringing solar education to the real estate industry. I help partner with real estate agents to make their transactions easier. I can bring tips and tricks to make their transfers of homes go easier with solar, especially since it's booming. And I've never gotten a no. I've maybe gotten a, oh yeah, maybe let's see when we can plug you into the calendar, right? A lot of these offices are planning their calendars months in advance. And so it's really important to try to reach out as soon as you can. So it's not something typically where they're going to have availability within the same month or so. They're usually planning out a ways, but yeah, if you can get in there, that's the approach. And then, yes, Barry, there are slides. And so I'm going to show those right now. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I change my slides every so often, just depending on, excuse my messy desktop, you guys, that's how my brain works. So these are my slides right now. I change them every so often. I've formatted them to how I like my flow to go when I'm working with a real estate office. And the first thing is real estate and solar 101. That's my first slide. All of the slides that I have here, there's very few that I created on my own. Most of them I've taken from the homeowner presentation. If you have nothing at all, don't feel like you need to create your own presentation. Real estate agents will be very happy with just the basic information on how solar works. So even if you're not a longtime solar pro, you can easily run a solar 101 course at a real estate office and just give them the basics of solar. You do not need to be a longtime solar professional. So in the beginning, I build credibility. I let them know, hey, I come from customer service. I've worked for some of the largest solar companies in the US, Solar City, Tesla, Sunrun. Again, this is a presentation I'm showing when I'm actually at their office. I let them know that I'm passionate about solar education and making their transactions easier. I specialize in the California market, and I am a real estate and solar partner and trainer. And I share with them that I partner with real estate agents. So the agenda is pretty simple when I go into these offices. Well, I guess it's not simple, it's kind of long, but solar and real estate obstacles. So we'll talk about what obstacles we're going to come across in the solar and real estate. We'll give you a solar market update. So I always tell them, I'm going to tell you the important things that you need to know, what's going on in solar today, what's going on in solar in California. I'm going to show you what are the common solar contract types you're going to come across. I'm going to show you how to know if your buyer is going to save with solar. I'm going to show you what current billing is versus solar billing so that you know why are people even going solar anyway. And I'll explain how solar works. And at the end, I'll share some referral opportunities if anyone is interested. And then contact info, I always share my contact info at the end. So if they have any follow-up questions, they can reach out to me. So the most important part of my presentation is addressing the elephant in the room. The reality is that real estate transactions have been very difficult for the real estate industry, for the title industry, for the lending industry, because of liens that attach to the home, liens that attach like a first to the home. And so everyone has dealt with a very difficult solar transaction. So I'd like to address that first. This is a tactic. It's really, really important that you break down the walls that have been built in blocking our industries from being partners, because the agents and your audience is not going to listen to you unless you address this. And so talking about the fact that you know what obstacles they come across, right? Liens that need to be paid off, solar companies that go out of business and can't be reached, buyers that are unsure about solar, are they even getting a good deal? Solar leases when a buyer wants to own their solar, a resistant buyer, how do you deal with that? I'm going to help you. I'm going to show you today. Different contract types. What are you even looking at? System sizes, payments, right? Solar can be quite complicated. And this is the part in the presentation where I like to take the pressure off the real estate agent. And I say, let me take the pressure off of you. I've been in solar for over 8 years and I'm still learning things every day. There is no way as a real estate agent you can learn solar overnight. So don't worry about being an expert, but I'm going to arm you with enough information today for you to be dangerous and for you to be leaps and bounds ahead of other real estate agents. So bye-bye liens. Hello, UCC ones. So right now, the good news is real estate agents that most solar companies are moving to UCC1 fixture filings rather than a first year mortgage. And so you're going to be seeing a lot more of that. So at this point in the presentation, I'm just delivering good news, delivering solutions. We can educate your buyer on how solar works, and that will help you with buyer adoption. The important thing is to gather the info from the seller. This will help arm you from delays. So there's 3 things I always tell a real estate agent to gather from a seller when they have a home with solar. The utility bill, and we know here why they should gather the electric bill, right? Even if they have solar, because we want to see, is that solar covering everything, or do they have a true-up bill? Is that solar not covering everything? Usually here I make a mention about the fact that a lot of the new home builds in California, especially because I present usually in California, they're only trying to satisfy the California law of putting enough solar panels on new home builds. And it's not usually enough for the homeowner's consumption. So there's a tip for agents. If you are working with the buyer and you're looking at a new home build, it's going to be important for you to warn them that their panels might not cover everything and they might need more panels. It doesn't mean solar was done the wrong way. It just means that the developer didn't put enough panels on there. So if they're coming across, again, a home with solar, 3 things they need to get: the utility bill to see if solar is covering everything or not. They need to get a copy of the solar contract, and they need photos of the equipment. Why would we need photos of the equipment? The reason that I mentioned to take photos of any equipment is because a lot of times real estate agents are not able to procure a copy of the solar contract because the homeowner lost it. They don't know where it is. It's been 5 years since they went solar. Who knows where the contract is? And so at this point, I make a couple recommendations. You can always find out what solar company installed what system by reaching out to the city and see what contractor pulled that permit. And so that's one tip that I give. And then also by taking photos of the equipment, right, we can see if it's a solar edge, we can see if it's Enphase, we can contact those companies and they might have information on who pulled that permit. So at this point, usually I see everyone taking notes. This is a very popular slide with offices. Also, another tip is to have a trusted solar partner, right? Because you can't learn solar overnight. So if you have a trusted solar partner, you can send solar contracts you come across to your solar partner. And if they're experienced and they're familiar with the different contract types, they can send you some bullet points with some notes. That way you can speak in a professional way about a solar system with your buyer or your seller. So after breaking those walls down, letting them know I know there are obstacles and sharing some tips, I like to talk about where solar is going. So doesn't it seem like solar is everywhere? Yes, but the truth is only 3.5 million homes have gone solar, and less than 4% of homes have solar. So 90 million are still eligible. That's amazing, you guys, how much of the market is still untapped with solar. And so what does that mean for the real estate industry? That means that we're going to see a huge boom because there's still so much solar to put on homes. And before agents know it, I always tell them, you're going to be dealing with a solar transaction on every single home. So you absolutely need to have basic solar knowledge. And if they're still not believing that solar is going to boom, I found this study by Forbes Homes that shows that a poll was taken over 47%, right? Half of Americans said, no, I don't have solar panels installed yet, but I do plan to sometime in the future. And only a third, a small portion, said, no, I don't, and I don't plan to. We know they just don't know yet, right? But they're going to do it too. But over half of Americans said that they plan to. So we are going to see a huge boom in solar. What else is going on? I like to share relevant information whenever I'm attending the office for what's currently going on in the market that I'm working in. So specifically in California, we have NEM 3.0 that passed on December 15th, where after April, we're going to see a 75% reduction of solar credits. And so time is of the essence. So here I drop I plant a seed that, hey, so by the way, if you're looking at solar for yourself or for one of your clients, before April would be better than after April. So that's just a seed I'm planting. When I'm talking to a real estate office, I'm really trying to keep this just educational. I'm trying not to go heavy on the referral opportunities on the very first visit, because that can be kind of off-putting to some agents and then they're not going to listen. So I try not to go heavy on that the first round. So then after that, we go into common solar contract types. I keep this very, very simple. These are two types of contract types you'll usually come across in solar: non-owned systems and owned systems. And then I explain the differences between the two. So we look at non-owned systems, the lease type of contract. If you come across those real estate agents, leases don't usually have purchasing options. They usually have a fixed monthly price. They usually have a price escalator. There's no tax incentives. A PPA is also a non-owned system, stands for power purchase agreement. It's going to be a fluctuating payment usually, right? It's going to mimic kind of how homeowners pay right now: higher bills in the summer, lower bills in the winter. And there are different versions of PPAs that can make it a fixed rate, right? We have, like, Sonova on the Power platform has an easy PPA that's a fixed. So there are variations, but the main two distinctions between a lease and a PPA are that a lease typically does not have purchase options, where a PPA does. So those are the two main differences between these two. Both of them can have a price escalator or not. I do see a lot of companies out there offer a 2.99% increase annually, so the price does go up, and no tax incentives for both of these. But what I like to share with agents about these are, especially like in our California market, almost 100% of cases, homeowner is going to pay to rent the solar for less money than they would pay their electric utility charges for just power. So in almost 100% of cases, when a real estate agent in California sees a lease or a PPA product on a home, they can be assured that that homeowner is paying less than what they would pay the utility. So that's just a nugget for them, right, to share with buyers, because that's usually a buyer's main concern is, am I even saving with solar? What is this solar system I'm coming up on? Am I spending more money than I should? And usually as a real estate agent, they don't see the savings up front. They see it on the back end during the transaction. So those are a couple things I like to share. A pro about a lease or a PPA is that the solar company usually monitors, maintains, and insures non-owned solar systems for hassle-free ownership. So that's a positive thing. So at this point, I'm sharing positives about these type of contracts. I am biased towards ownership. I love ownership. So I do share that, hey, we all love owned systems more, right? So do buyers. But if you happen to come across non-owned systems, these are the points that you can make to shed good light, to shed positivity on them. But if you're dealing with the owned system, these are the different ways: financed or paid off. Paid off are our favorite. I usually tell them a tip: make sure to still contact the solar company to transfer the warranty. And then least common we have are like the hero pace, the lean type of products that they remember the most. And even though they remember those the most, they're really the least type of product that's out there. And I always do like to make a mention, you guys, because hero pace type of products, they're not terrible products. They're just terrible for transfers. So they're a great product for people who can't qualify for conventional financing. But the reality is that it probably wasn't explained to that homeowner who signed up under a hero program at the time, right? It probably wasn't explained properly that, hey, if you sell your home, it's a first on your mortgage, you're probably going to need to pay it off. Fun fact though, I recently did find out that the law for hero changed. So in the past, it used to be transferable, and then all of a sudden it was made not transferable. So I think that's where a lot of people got stuck too with those type of loans. But this is usually a very popular slide. It's very simple. I'm sure that you guys can find more things to put on these different types of contracts, but they're the main type of contracts that we come across. So then I usually show an example of a lease type of payment, because I want real estate agents to see how to know for sure if their buyer is going to save money when they adopt a solar system. So I show them, okay, well, look at what the price per kilowatt hour is on a lease product, for example. Look at what year and what payment they're making, and then compare that price per kilowatt hour, compare it to the current price of electricity. So this example, they're paying 20 cents per kilowatt hour on this lease agreement we came across. It's a lease agreement, so we know there's no purchase options. Okay, we're not going to try to ask the company to remove it. That's a really common question. So that's hard news for agents. I always tell them, that's the number one question I get. Can we get rid of this lease? No, we cannot. We can't get rid of it. We just have to love it. But again, it's taking the edge off the homeowner's bills. So after 25 years, you could just have the company remove it, get your own solar system. I show them in California, specifically with Southern California Edison, I show them how to read a post-solar bill. Because remember, in the beginning, I'm telling them to get an electric utility bill. So I show them this is what a solar Edison bill looks like, a post-solar bill. This is what you should be looking for. Year-to-date charges. There should be nothing there. You should not have a true-up bill there if there's enough solar panels on this home. If there isn't enough solar panels on this home, you will have charges here, and this is where you see them on this bill. So I go a little bit more into depth here and explain how that works, but we know that agreement was 20 cents. The current rate of electricity in Southern California Edison, for example, I think it's gone up since then, since the last time I put this in here, but at peak time is 54 cents. Remember, we just saw a lease at 20 cents. And I think that that's the point where everyone's brain just kind of like explodes, right? They're like, whoa. So that solar, that homeowner is paying 20 cents per kilowatt hour when the current rate of electricity, the majority of when they're spending their electricity is double that, is almost triple that, right? So we can say with definition that they're saving at least 50% on their electric bill compared to current utilities. Don't you think that's great information to share with the buyer? So then what I show them too, just to explain rising rates, is a 2021 example of where utility rates were. 2021, that's just a couple of years ago. The price per kilowatt hour is 23 cents, and now peak time is close to 60 cents. So that just goes to show you rising rates and why solar is such a good value add for clients. So after that, I explain usually why people are going solar anyway, right? Real estate agents don't know this usually. Some don't know this because they see it again at the end of a transaction. So they save up to 50% on energy cost, at least in the California market they did. Zero down financing, they get a tax credit, increase the value of your home potentially, and it's clean renewable energy. And then I show specific examples from my homeowners that have gone solar. So this homeowner had a bill average with Edison of $687. They were paying an average of 35 cents per kilowatt. They own their system, no money down, no money out of pocket. And they're paying $382 to own their solar. They're saving $300 a month. And that's why this client said yes to solar. Their federal tax credit is $22,000. And then I show a couple more examples. I usually show a more average example, like one like this, for example, a bill going from $353 to $233. And then I talk about their 25-year savings. And this gives real estate agents a glimpse into why homeowners even said yes to solar. And then it makes sense for them, right? And it makes sense like, oh, now I get it. I know why homeowners went solar. Oh, shoot, maybe I should go solar. And so that's what the thought process usually is. We talk about the 30% federal tax credit, even though like in California, for example, we have what's going on with NEM 3.0, the tax credit on a federal level has been extended for 10 years, I think maybe even more. So there's still going to be a huge incentive for homeowners to go solar. Right now, everyone understands rising cost. Inflation is out of control. We don't even know how some people are really making it out there. And any chunk of money is going to be very helpful. And so a lot of people are still going to go solar. We talk about the studies that show that solar increases home value and that solar homes will sell 20% faster than homes without solar. And then I explain how solar works. We put solar on a roof. It can store in their battery, or it cannot store in their battery. It can go to the grid. Utilities purchase it. We talk, and then we go into why power. So at this point, it's been very education heavy. And then I let them know, hey, if you don't have a solar partner, let me tell you a little bit about the company I work with. I work with a company called Powur. What I love about them is they have the best protection for your clients' homes with their 30-year warranty. So you are going to have clients, you're going to have solar companies knocking on your clients' doors, and not all of them are going to be great. But with our company, we have a 30-year warranty that protects homeowners, all their parts, labor, roof penetrations. I talk about us being a certified B Corporation, which is huge. If you're not sharing that, I would totally work that into your slide. Major bragging rights. We operate with a high level of integrity. We do more than just operate a business. And then I talk about the stages of the contract, and the rest here, I kind of skimmed through and I let them know, by the way, we do have an ambassador program. It's $1,000 for referrals. And if you want to learn more about making more than $1,000 off of your referrals, please talk to me after the training or reach out to me. And then I go towards my contact information. I show my contact information. And so this is my slide. It flows really well with just how I speak and kind of the stages of the presentation that I have felt are successful, and I get really good conversation out of it. I will share these slides with you guys. I'll have to figure out how to drop that in the chat. I'm not very tech savvy, but I am going to share with you guys also a recording that I got from my most recent training that was just sent to me this morning. So I will drop that in the chat right now. And then it's 10:39, so I'll go ahead and pass it over to Marisa.
Cynthia, you are so awesome. That was an amazing training. Thank you for being so candid and literally sharing with us your presentation that you go into these offices and exactly how you speak to the agents. Just like you, I get that question quite a bit, because people know that I'm in real estate and they ask me, how do you talk to real estate agents? How do you go up there and speak in front of them? And there is nothing that I would have changed in the slides that you presented. As a matter of fact, our presentations are almost the same because I do the same thing you do. So awesome information. Thank you for sharing that. I know people will be looking out for this recording. On that note, we will jump into our mark your calendar section of our training. So we want to make sure that you guys know the trainings that are coming up. The more you earn, the more you learn with our company. We love the fact that Powur has such great training tools and resources available. When I signed up in 2020, guys, they didn't have any of this training available. They were still developing and getting things put together. And what we have today is amazing. So you want to make sure you mark your calendar. On Mondays, we have training series with JC Rangel. We also have Power Hours every Monday evenings from 5 to 6. On Tuesdays, we have the Power Hitters and Solar Warrior Tribe with Jonathan Bernasso and Jarrett. They're on every Tuesday at 10 a.m. There's also office hours if you want to go and ask questions about projects, not specific, but questions about Powur, how to work at certain projects, certain things you've come across. You want to attend these office hours. So Tuesday, the office hours are from 11 to 12. We have a partner in-phase training as well on Tuesdays. On every Wednesday, we have our breakthrough masterminds. They're at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard. That's where you go over your KPIs, key performance indicators. What do you need to be working on in your business to be successful? We also have third-party owned workshops for leases with Rachel McDonald. So she just started that. You guys, if you have lease questions about specific files, you can literally take your current transaction, go into that training and ask questions about that to make sure that you're on the right track, you're setting things up the right way. We also have Southern California Market Development. That's on Wednesdays, 3 p.m. If you work in the Southern California market, you want to be on that call. Okay. If you want to work in the Southern California market, let's get on that call. Thursdays, Solar Edge trainings. One of our partner trainings with Solar Edge is on Thursdays, 9 a.m. right before this training every week at 10 a.m. So Women of Powur training, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard every Thursday. Right after this training, we jump into office hours. So we'll have office hours available for anyone that has questions. Again, it's just another area for you to go to talk to mentors and ask questions about your business or some deals that you're working on. Friday, this upcoming Friday, Virtual Powur World 2023 starts at 8 a.m. You want to make sure that you are a part of that. And again, I believe those office hours will probably be canceled on Friday if we're in Virtual Powur World. So take a screenshot of this, jump over to the Powur calendar. That's where all the trainings are, everything all inclusive. But yeah, jump into those, plug them into your calendar, make sure you learn so that you can continue to earn with this amazing platform that we have in front of us. We also have a Women of Powur newsletter. It goes out every week. So right after this training, this wonderful recording that Cynthia did will be in this newsletter. If you are not a part of that newsletter, please make sure to put your name, first and last, and your email in the chat. We'll have someone grab that information and put you on the newsletter roster so that you get this newsletter on Fridays. It'll have this week's training plus a list to all of the prior trainings as well, and a lot of other interesting things that might help you out with your business, things that are going on with Powur. Okay. And with that, we like to end with our closing quote. So our closing quote is, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be, by Ralph Waldo Emerson. We want to thank everybody for joining us for this training. Again, please come back next week. It is hosted by the Women of Powur, myself, Marisa Fletcher, Cynthia Alvidrez, Isela Bonata, and Chrislyn Yim. We are here every week bringing you value, bringing you education. Next week, we have a lead generation training. So each of us are going to come on and teach you how we get our leads. In addition to what Cynthia just gave, that's just going to add on to it. Each of us mentors are going to come on and say how we've run our business and been successful with Powur. You guys can copy that information and go out and use it. Okay. So we hope to see you back here next week. On that note, I am going to end the recording and see you guys next week. We're going to jump into our office hours.
Okay.
Thank you for taking the time to watch the Women of Powur training series. I hope that you got some great value out of that video, and there's much, much more where that came from. Listen, if you'd like to join Power or find out more about this awesome and amazing platform, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in the description. I look forward to connecting with you real soon. Have a great day.